Warning: this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I do not condone or recommend the usage of illicit drugs, and I especially do not recommend using Dextromethorphan or DXM as it is commonly referred to as. While it is relatively safe, it can interact very negatively with other medications you may be taking, and as I personally know, it has a high potential for addiction if you aren't careful. With that said, please enjoy the trip report. I took what I thought was 600 milligrams of DXM but was actually 1.2 g. I laid down on my bed and looked at my phone for about 10 minutes before my dad told me he wanted me to watch an episode of this old show with him and my mom. An episode is 30 minutes and I knew I would narrowly get back to my room in time before it kicked in, but after all, it was only 600 milligrams so I could play that off. 20 minutes after dosing, everything on the TV is double and the room is starting to spin very slowly, but it's drifting far. I can tell my mom is studying my body expressions to see if I'm high, so I try my hardest to appear sober and make comments on the TV show. Whenever I close my eyes I see intricate, but darkly colored patterns endlessly moving and morphing the second my eyelids cover my eyes. 40 minutes after dosing, I'm in my room and turn the lights out to trip out in the dark. I black out around this part, but this is during the time frame I messaged pretty sure I'm actually the god of DXM. No nausea with 14 g of guaf and 600 milligrams of DXM in the group chat. I get up to go puke shortly after, but I go into the bathroom and don't puke. I just kind of stood there dissociated, then went back to my room. When I got back in there I turned my lamp on to find my phone and headphones. I started listening to the album Care by Temperix since it is my favorite album to listen to while on DXM. 1 hour after dosing, my visuals have evolved by this point. When I close my eyes I see places and I believe I am there. A few different realities are playing out in my mind and I'm never sure which one is real. I snap out of it and open my eyes, and for some reason, my immediate thought was to take more DXM. I don't know why I did this, but I took 4 more pills, upping my dose to 1,440 milligrams along with 28 g of guaf. Around this time I messaged literally just saw the hallway of immortality in heaven in the chat, which I will describe now. It was so beautiful. I heard heavenly chanting and singing in a foggy endless hallway filled with lush greenery with waterfalls in the distance off to the left of where I was standing. There were marble-colored columns reaching infinitely high to a ceiling I could not see, but I absolutely knew this was a room of a building far larger than I could ever understand, and that building wasn't even a fraction of heaven, which is what I was seeing. I don't think my soul was in heaven. I hadn't died, but I was definitely seeing it. 1 hour and 20 minutes after dosing. Around this time I snapped out of the dream world and looked to the side of my bed, which in my vision was reversed, along with the fact that my whole world was inverted and shaped like a V. I know that is confusing, but it's the only way I can describe it. Off to the side of my bed, I saw a giant piece of bacon that was wearing a toga, had a beard, and had a halo above its head. It told me I need to stop doing drugs very soon and that I have a purpose far beyond that, which I understand now. After this, I got a feeling that I've got on DXM doses as low as 720 milligrams before. I call it main characterism, when you're so high you think you are the main character of life. I soon felt that I understood my entire destiny and that the life I was living was a test. This was a trial. I wasn't God, but I had a divine fate much more important than everyone else. The rapture would happen and my purpose would be brought to my attention. Earth's only purpose was to test me in my life. My parents were heavenly deities that I cannot possibly comprehend. Beyond the power of angels, they were the watchers who must keep me safe until my time comes. And that DXM and all other drugs want to take my life from me before I can fulfill my heavenly duty. The pharmaceutical companies are pure evil and know what their products can do. Their only purpose is to kill people under the guise of being medicine. After this, I messaged a Discord server I was in. I just had a giant piece of bacon in the cryptic language, which translates to something along the lines of I just had a giant piece of bacon, speak in the cryptic language. I know I'm still coming down from the high and not in my right mind, but part of me still believes this. It felt so real it can't be fake. 2 hours after dosing, my mother comes into my room and sees me sitting up in bed staring at the wall and says, "Name redacted. I think you're high." I respond, "I know. I'm sorry." She said, "Okay, stay right there," and got my father. When she sat at my bedside she asked where the box of what I took was, and I said I don't have it. She asked me not to lie to her and I tried to explain the box is in the trash at the store, but speaking was extremely difficult and I didn't have the mental capacity to explain what I wanted to say. but I got the point across that I had taken DXM and not DPH. They talked with me for what felt like 4 hours but was around an hour, asking if I needed to go to the hospital and how I can move forward from this sobriety-wise. After this, my dad went back to bed and my mom sat beside my bed in the dark for a few more minutes. Her face was shape-shifting into many different faces as she talked, like the faces of statues or superheroes, as she spoke to me. I've experienced this before on other plateau sigma doses of DXM. 3 hours and 30 minutes after dosing. When she left the room, I got up to urinate and I instantly knew something was wrong. My urine was cloudy, off-colored and practically thick. Some of it hit the toilet seat and stuck to it. It wasn't even liquid. I think I was urinating straight guaf from the pills, which are not soluble in urine at high doses, which is why it causes blockages or kidney stones. The urine had a strong smell of medicine. The same smell was on my hands as I counted the pills earlier that night. Urinating was extremely painful. After this, I laid in bed for a bit longer, went to the restroom once more, then passed out in my bed. 8 hours and 30 minutes after dosing, I woke up with extremely loud and deep ringing in my ears. Visual drifting was moderate, but not bothering me, and I still felt physically extremely high and very isolated in my own mind. This trip report was written the day after the dose, and in my own words, at the time my mind was moving very slow, so I apologize for bad grammar or sentence structure. But I will mention that no one should reach plateau sigma from DXM. It is not only extremely dangerous and can cause neuron degeneration, which is just a fancy word for brain damage, but it took me almost a week to feel quote-unquote normal again. And I feel like this is one of the trips that permanently altered who I was as a person and what I am capable of, all because I misread a medicine box thinking each pill was 30 milligrams each and not 60 milligrams each. That is a massive fucking difference. Hopefully, you enjoyed and thank you for listening. This is Pills Am I Right signing off, till next time.